this video is going to be a little bit of a weird take. The videos that I make a lot of the time, I have a tendency of just talking about what my daily life is and everything that goes on in my life, you know. But I never really talk about my inner thoughts or what I feel and think about my life or just what inspires me. And I think I'm going to make a video on this channel for once and talk a little bit about that. I know there's some people in my life that will say that you shouldn't be saying these things and you shouldn't be expressing yourself openly on the internet because it's open to scrutiny and it's open to people ridiculing you or just there's going to be a difference of opinion no matter how positive you make a video. There's always going to be somebody who finds an offense within it, and it gets worse the more popular you get, you know. But I originally made this channel for my son, and so he could get an understanding of who I am and what I am. And even if he never really pays attention to any of these videos, and I may live a long life, hopefully somebody out there can get a perspective of the type of person that I am and what I enjoy and what inspires me, you know. I just sent a long-ass message to my girlfriend a few minutes ago explaining this very thought, and I thought to myself, you know what, I would like to actually have this in recording before I completely forget about it and it becomes an irrelevant part of my life that it's just a passing moment, you know, a passing thought process, a passing inspirational flicker of aspiration in my brain. But that's why I wanted to make this video. And the theme of this is what makes you, like, what brings the awe out of you, you know, like what makes you feel like inspired, or what makes you like contemplate the complexity of our world. And for me, it's like, as a truck driver, one second. As a truck driver, I get to see the process of humanity develop as I drive along, and I see constructions and buildings being put up and houses being demolished and redevelopment of our country, you know, our planet. And some of the things that I see that I focus on a lot of the times is when I'm driving. I used this example yesterday. I just sent this message to my girlfriend and I used this as an example. Let's say I pass by a quarry or a construction site or a road project or just any kind of road construction, you know, and I see, let's say, a pile of concrete or a pile of bricks that need to be built or put into place to build this home, you know. It gets me thinking a lot of the time about like the sheer scale of the amount of resources that we have at our disposal, you know. Yesterday, when I was driving home, I was thinking about, I was actually listening to a book, and at one point, the main character was crafting iron arrows, and it talked about how he was crafting thousands of them for his soldiers and whatnot. And it had me thinking, like, how many thousands of years has humanity spent with just a simple bow and arrow, you know? How many arrowheads have craftsmen and artisans and worksmen spent their entire lives perfecting and creating, either out of forced labor or paid labor, either or? Their entire existence was spent in a shabby fucking room with few pieces of stick and some fucking copper, bronze, zinc, steel ingots, whatever it may be, molding them into the shape of an arrowhead. And how many thousands, millions were produced in the past, you know? How many kings and emperors in our past history ordered their 100,000 strong cavalry, archer fucking military to fire upon an invading force with literal millions of arrows at once, you know? And just thinking of this occurring for thousands of years, long before the modern civilization rose up and we were able to develop the techniques necessary to produce these things on a mass scale. You know, how much just raw material was mined out of fucking ancient mines or ancient caverns in the ground just to produce these arrows. And this is just one example. You know, you could say the same thing about swords or spears or axes or fucking any weapon. You know, just how much raw material was produced in the past to produce these things. And it has me like inspired, or it makes me like wonder about like the sheer scale of the potential of humanity, you know. And now you look at our modern military complex, or our modern industrial complex, where it's like we produce gigatons worth of fucking steel, or fucking just iron, or just rebar, you know, for road construction. I was telling her just a minute ago, one of the roads that I drove on throughout my shifts working this entire year, there's been this strip of road that has been being constructed, and it's about 10 miles long. And I remember at one point there was, they were laying down the rebar for the asphalt to be poured over, you know. And I remember just driving for literally like 10 miles and just seeing just a sea of fucking rebar, you know, just a sea of steel. I don't know exactly what rebar is made out of, but I'm assuming steel. And just the sheer quantity of like, where the fuck does this all come from? You know, like how the hell did they transport all of that shit here? You know, like how did they get all that here, and how long did that take to make? You know, and it just makes me, I don't know, it just makes me like, not necessarily, I'm trying to think of the right word. It makes me like, just the sheer scale of these things being produced, you know. And you find out that China has used literally the same amount of concrete in the last decade that we've used in the last 150 years. And it's just like, how do you even wrap your mind around something like that? And then when I listen to, like, my favorite novel series is Warhammer 40K. I've read over 100 books. I continuously read books about Warhammer 40K. Even, like, I finished 3 books last week. And they constantly talk about hive cities and massive structures, like thousand fleet-sized ships that are a mile long, you know, or the Siege of Terra, where literally an ocean of fucking vessels came out of the void to attack the solar system. And it's just like, or just thinking about like the Mechanicus, you know, and like their ability to produce shit on a scale that's just unimaginable on a Forge World, you know, and knowing that there's thousands of Forge Worlds around the galaxy producing these things, and just producing mundane objects, you know, at such a scale that it's mind-boggling. It just makes me hopeful for the future, and it makes me a little bit depressed, you know, because it's like I'm never going to be able to experience the potential of humanity. I'm never going to be able to experience the possibility of what our species is capable of. In a few hundred years from now, when I'm long dead and my son and grandson is dead, you know, there is going to be a time where mining in the solar system becomes an everyday routine thing. There's going to be cargo ships or fucking transport systems that are set up that are transporting millions of tons worth of just pure gold ore or platinum, palladium, zinc, aluminum, you know, a myriad of fucking metals that we find in the asteroid belt to the planet, you know. And like, I'm never going to be able to see this. It's going to be so fucking just casual that people are just going to hop between worlds at some point, and it's just going to be like, oh, we're going on vacation, honey. Like, want to go to Mars today? Like, I think the price is about $200 and something, pretty cheap this time of year. You know, just like how we do it, fucking want to fly to like Florida or overseas. And it just makes me depressed knowing that I'm not going to be able to see that. Like, I'm not going to be able to see the potential of millions of humans working towards a goal of building these things. And, you know, I should feel grateful that I live in a world where even now we build things that are beyond imagination, you know. We build fucking cities that are literally like would take the better part of our ancestors 1,000 years to produce, and we do it within a decade, you know. And I should feel awe-inspired by that, but my circumstances right now of cornfield to my left, cornfield to my right, doesn't really give me the awe-inspiring feeling that those sites would entail. And I don't know, I don't mean to make this into a depressing video. It's a bitter pill to swallow, because it's, on one hand, it's like awe-inspiring, and I feel humbled, and it makes me wonder about the future of our species. But on the other hand, it's knowing the fact that I'm never going to be a part of it, and I'm never going to be a figure, even a side character to the events of history that unfold. I'm never going to be somebody who witnesses the first man on Titan or on Europa. You know, I'm never going to be a part of the first fucking group of humans traveling to our closest star system, Alpha Centauri, you know. Hell, I'm not even going to be a character involved on watching it on a TV of watching them go to the nearest star system, you know. And like I told her, I was born too late to explore the world, and I'm born too early to explore the universe. And I just, knowing all of that information that I just talked about, I still try to find daily things in my life that inspire me and make me think grander than myself, you know. And whether it be a mound of dirt and wondering how many rocks are involved, or how many rocks are inside of this mound of dirt, or whether it be a house being built, or a building complex where 20 buildings are popping up and I get to see their progress, you know, or whether it be a mall or a shopping center that's built on my route towards Illinois or Minnesota, you know. I'm still lucky to be able to experience those things and see those things for what they are, and witness humans at their best, you know. But I just wanted to make this video and talk a little bit about that. There was no really meaning to this. It was just a thought that I had in my brain, and like something that I wanted to share that I don't think I've ever shared to anybody, especially nobody online, you know. And you don't necessarily have to take anything from this message. It's just a 31-year-old man having some thoughts in his brain while he drives up to Minnesota for his work, you know. So yeah, I don't know, guys. I will catch you guys in the next video. I hope you enjoyed this video. Drop a like down below if you want to hear more of my weird fucking brain, and maybe I'll upload something in the future. But I'll talk to you later. Peace out as always, and have a nice night, guys.